Hello and welcome to Teleislas News with the most important and relevant information of the day. The commander of the police department of the archipelago gave a press conference to provide information on the operations conducted over the weekend.
In the first instance, the colonel highlighted that during the weekend there were no major injuries or homicides on the island.
In the same way, for us it is important to highlight that this weekend we had a whole device throughout the island, which allow us to maintain control over all the crimes of high impact. Here it is very important to emphasize that during the weekend we did not have any serious injury. We did not have any homicide cases. The important thing is to continue monitoring this downward trend. There is a break in the homicide trend in San Andres and this must be highlighted. But in the same way, we have to continue working.
In addition, it was emphasized that thanks to the operations conducted during the weekend, one person was arrested for drug trafficking.
Here, it is important to highlight that thanks to this intervention, we are reaching our sectors, even rural areas. With this, we managed to capture a citizen who was confiscated more than 3,000 grams of marijuana. This person arrived 5 months ago to the island of San Andres and was captured with this marijuana. This drug was ready to be sold and was inside some wrappers of a money transfer company.
The captured person was placed at the disposal of the prosecutor's office, who will now continue the investigation. The commander, in the same vein, invites the community to collaborate with information that will help to put an end to organized crime in the department.
Tomorrow, the Secretary of Public Services and Environment will conduct a day of extraction of tires from the green point of the archipelago of San Andres.
Since previous months, the Secretariat of Public Services and Environment has been conducting collection days of special and ordinary waste such as rubber, tires, which are expected to reach Cartagena to be reused and or recycled in the best way possible. This news agency communicated with the Secretariat of this office, and this is what he told us.
Es una jornada de extracción de llantas que se están acumulando en Punto Verde. Nosotros en
It is a day of extraction of tires that are accumulating in the green point. In different actions in previous years, we have removed and received tires from different places where they are generated on the island. We have tried on different days to remove accumulated waste from the green point because we cannot enter. We have some limitations from the corporation precisely because of an accumulation due to environmental permit issues.
The community of the islands is invited to make proper disposal of solid waste in the cleaning days that are being conducted in the different neighborhoods of the archipelago. It is also a call to dispose of garbage on the corresponding days to avoid the critical points of garbage accumulation. Likewise, through alliances made with other organizations, it is expected that the disposal of these waste will be done in an adequate manner.
Hicimos una alianza con el Sistema Verde. Ellos van a traer un contenedor.
We have made an alliance with the Green System, and they are going to bring a container in which they are going to place the largest amount of tires. We do not have an approximate, but until today, we will know how many tires we will be able to place inside the container, and they will be taken to Cartagena to a recycling center. Then they will generate a certification of final disposal, which allows us to close the cycle of this type of waste generated on the island, and thus ensure proper disposal of them.
In this way, it is expected to reduce the critical points of garbage on the island and ensure the proper processes for the disposal of special and ordinary waste generated on the island. Finally, the Secretary Paula Velez said that it is expected to generate a contract with the relevant entities to collect all the waste found in critical points such as in neighborhoods of Cliff and Santana, so that these wastes can be eradicated.
The deputies of the Departmental Assembly began to present their projects for this current term in the framework of the third period of ordinary sessions.
With the beginning of the ordinary sessions, the deputy of the Duma presented several projects that seek to benefit the department, among which are two initiatives presented by Deputy Carlos Carvajal.
The first, the Pro-National University SEED, has as its objective that all those young people who enrolled in a national university, the Caribbean campus, have the opportunity to first have support to finish their studies. This project seeks that young people have the opportunity to study with support. in the cities where they can go, which have to be the city of Bogota, Medellin, or Manizales, according to the PMME program presented by the National University Caribbean Campus.
Another of the initiatives presented to the Duma is the Creole House Project, a center that seeks to host all the knowledge related to the native language of the archipelago.
I have presented a project called the Creole House, which aims to research and strengthen our language, and secondly, to give the opportunity to all young people and people in general living in San Andres Island to learn the native language of the people, which is Creole, and additionally English. The idea is to create a research center where those that are here legally in the department have an institutional framework where they can reach an agreement on how to write and pronounce the Creole. That will be a great research.
The two projects will be studied by the Duma to verify that they meet the legal requirements.
And in order to evaluate the maximum load capacity of the Big Pond Lagoon, authorities made an inspection visit.
The Department Secretariat of Tourism, with the support of the Vice Ministry of Industry and Commerce, conducted a study to evaluate the carrying capacity of the Big Pond Lagoon. This activity was conducted with the support of the tourism providers of this sector, and its purpose is to make a relevant environmental study on the carrying capacity of this tourist attraction of the island, which in its ecosystem is home to important species of flora and fauna of the archipelago. Remember that this place is a semi-salty water lagoon and is a refuge for the biological diversity of animals such as the white heron, pigeon, palm trees, and fruit trees. It is not suitable for swimming, but it is ideal for contact with nature. It is also home to the babias, which, although their origin isn't from the islands, in the 70s were confiscated when they were illegally taking them to Central America, and it was decided to leave them in this place.
Teleislas News sought a response by the concern expressed by the inhabitants of the Santana neighborhood about the constant settling of water in the sector. The Secretary of Infrastructure, Abel Archibald, gave a statement on the matter.
After being reported on Teleislas News, the voice of the inhabitants of the Santana sector asking the departmental administration for a solution to the settling of rainwater that occurs repeatedly in the winter, the Secretary of Infrastructure, Abel Archibald, indicated that he is taking action on the matter.
Tomando carta en el asunto.
We are taking action with the engineer Luis Dofis to determine how we are going to solve this problem, since it is not only a problem of rainwater flooding but also a dumping of wastewater, which is one of the biggest problems that San Andres is having with the rainwater channels.
In view of this, the Secretary of Infrastructure maintains that the following intervention will be made.
Empezamos a determinar cuáles son los vertimientos.
We started to determine which are the discharges and request the sealing of these discharges with the vector. Once it is operational, we will proceed to remove the rainwater if it is rainwater. We will put the wastewater in the hands of Veolia, which is the company that manages the sanitary sewage system.
Meanwhile, the residents of the Santana sector are waiting for a day when the settling of water will be a thing of the past.
Nosotros le pedimos al gobierno que nos arregle la.
We are asking the government to fix the street for us. Do you think this is fair? Back there is a welfare system. The children from the Cocal have to pass through here, and look how bad the water is, and every rainy season it is like this.
The bad odors that are constantly inhaled and the eventual spread of diseases are other consequences of the settling of water problems in the area, hence the importance of having a solution in the short term, which in turn reduces the likelihood of outbreaks and allergies among residents of the sector.
In an interview with Teleislas News, the member of the Rysel team, Kent Francis, who accompanied Colombia defense in The Hague, gives us a recap of his participation.
After the conclusion of the oral hearings on the third lawsuit that the Central American country filed against Colombia related to violation of sovereign rights and maritime spaces in the Caribbean Sea, we spoke with leader Kent Francis, who gave us a recap of his intervention.
This was like something we had to do from the very beginning. Like from when this case started in 2001, we people went for the upfront. So now we get the chance and we did it. We put ourselves in front of all the judges from the International Court of Justice in The Hague. And for them, it's clear that we are a people. We are a people different from the average of people from both sides. And we are in the midst of this conflict and this decision them have to make. So what we looking for is that we being considered directly as the people that have been over centuries using and ruling over these seas.
On what's next in the process, the leader states,
we have to wait now on a few months. Then we make their intern considerations and they will figure their decisions to bring out a ruling. And then when that comes, then the two parties will be called upon to go and listen to the ruling that this international court will do for us.
Let's remember that during Kent Francis' historic address, the leader made known the importance that the sea has historically for the Rizal people, as well as the food security that it provides to the islanders.
We will now have an overview of the coronavirus situation in our department to this date.
For today, Monday, October 4, the Ministry of Health issued its daily report that the departmental did not add new cases of COVID-19. Thus, the department continues with the cases since the beginning of the pandemic by the coronavirus. However, according to the Departmental Health Secretary's report dated October 4, there are 14 active cases, leaving a total of 6,711 people recovered. This graph also shows that women have been the most affected by the virus with a total of 3,644 cases, while in men's there have been 3,234 cases. With the report to the occupancy of the ICU, this graph shows that it is currently at 5%. The number of deaths to date are 135, while the most affected neighborhoods are Guinea Hen, San Luis, Cerribier, Barrio Obrero, Schoolhouse, and Batrud.
And at this time of the night, we will continue with Millicent and the news from the municipality of Old Providence and Santa Catalina.
Good evening to all our viewers. This is the most relevant information from Old Providence and Catalina. This past weekend, 2 incidents occurred that raised a red flag in the municipality. The death of one of the reconstruction workers in a traffic accident and an armed robbery to the gas station of the island.
2 incidents occurred this weekend that worries the Providence community. Yesterday, a traffic accident left one person dead and another seriously injured. Eyewitness attributed the accident to high speed at which the motorcycle was being driven. The police commander had the following to say about the event.
2 persons who were traveling on a motorcycle. I understand that they are workers of a company that is carrying out construction activities. They were traveling through a section of the island and had a collision. One of them died due to the injuries, due to the impact. And for us, it is regrettable to have to give such a negative report. But this is a call to respect traffic rules, to be careful when driving these motorcycles.
During the Unified Command post, the mayor expressed his concern, saying that despite the commitments made, Sundays are becoming a time of disorder and accidents due to alcohol. On the other hand, on Saturday at 2:40 a.m., there was also an attempt robbery with a knife by a hooded man at the gas station, an event never seen before in the municipality.
A person came in and put a knife to the gas station attendant's neck and demanded that he hand him over the bag with the money in it. Otherwise, he was going to kill him.
After a struggle with the worker, the thief fled the place on foot. The manager of the gas station said that he does not feel the protection of the authorities since on 2 previous occasions, attacks on his workers have been denounced without any results.
I do not feel protected because the authorities have not acted in none of the cases that we have denounced. We have gone to the prosecutor's office with the first one that happened years ago, and the other case happened a little bit before the hurricane, and this is the time that nothing has happened. Absolutely nothing.
Finally, the businessman decided to close the gasoline sales service at 11 p.m. in order to protect himself and his workers.
There will be no more service from 11 to 7 a.m. There will be no more fuel service.
And also during the weekend, the launch of the Tourism Community and Cultural Fair was held as the conclusion of the Resilient Islands program.
This past Saturday, the Resilient Island Local Exchange concluded with a fair seeking to create economic alternative for tour operators in different areas due to the situation that the island is undergoing. The Community Tourism and Cultural Fair that was carried out in Southwest Bay achieved its goal with live gastronomic demonstration, traditional fritters, and painting workshops. Likewise, the community approached the area to admire ancestral practices and buy handcrafts while enjoying the pastries of the island. The gastronomic and art exhibition was held along with traditional horse race, which was carried out during the afternoon hours with great attendance. The fair concluded with traditional music presentations. Musical groups showed off their talent on the mandolin, guitar, maracas, and other instruments to the attendees.
This is all the information we have for tonight for this section of Old Providence and Catalina. You guys can continue in San Andres with more Teleislas news. Good night.
Thank you, Millie. Let's go with all our cultural news of the archipelago. The island's film and television festival Encarrete Isleño opens Convocation for young people of the island to be part of the audiovisual process that are being conducted together with the Ministry of Culture.
20 young people interested in film and audiovisual production are expected to participate in production and direction workshops that will take place during weekends with island and continental workshop leaders.
La convocatoria es una convocatoria que viene de parte de una beca de estímulos del.
It's a convocation that comes from the incentives of the Ministry of Culture. It's called ENI Juvenile, and it basically consists of teaching young people to make an audiovisual production, and the idea is that they end up with 2 fiction products. The convocation is open until October 7th, and we will already have those registered.
For this call, there are no prerequisites other than the motivation to be part of the artistic processes that take place on the island. Funding will be provided and 7 different workshop leaders will be guiding the different pre-production, production, and post-production stages of the 2 fiction stories that are expected to be filmed.
Esta convocatoria de ahora que se llama Encarretados.
This convocation, now called Encarretados, is made in the framework of the 15th anniversary of the San Andres Film and Television Festival Encarrete Isleño to be held the next year. Then we are encouraging young people and audiovisual producers to make productions for next year to show many productions of the island.
Film shooting is expected to take place between November 13 and 26, and the premiere of the 2 productions is expected to take place on December 4th with actors, producers, and filmmakers from the island.
Es importante que estemos trabajando.
It is important that we are constantly working on producing products from the island where we are sharing about the island, because that helps us to professionalize us and will also help to generate other forms of income for the department. We are working on all these processes, and we are proposing that the community is linked to it. Filmmaking belongs to everyone and for everyone.
The Cultural Center of the Bank of the Republic, together with other organizations, will hold virtual conferences, symposiums, seminars, workshops for those interested in all artistical, musical, sewing, memory, and other related topics. The first of them will be this week and will be held virtually.
On October 8th of this year, the first virtual meeting of Caribbean artists will be held on practices of distancing and other ways of bringing the Caribbean and art closer through a virtual conference to be held through the WebEx meeting platform and Facebook Live.
The Cultural Center of the Republic Bank, concerned about the artists of the archipelago, the visual artists, the artists of the audiovisual world, has created a space for artists from the Caribbean and the Creole diaspora to get closer and have conversations about the challenges they face every day as Caribbean artists, about the techniques that identify them, and to question themselves about the island art.
In this series of virtual encounters, several experts reflect on artistic creation in the Caribbean and establish dialogues with artists from the region with a special focus on the need to create, think, and connect and San Andres art with Caribbean art and art produced by members of the Creole diaspora.
The importance of this event is that for 2 consecutive years it has been held from the Cultural Center at the San Andres Republic Bank. And likewise, in other regions of the Caribbean, we hope that all artists, all those interested in the subject of audiovisual art, and also producers can participate and enrich their knowledge and talk with others related to these areas.
They will have the participation of Edgar Leon, who is an artist and university professor from the neighboring country of Costa Rica, and the island sculptor Ernesto Linton and Heider Orsini from Alianza Plataforma Carnival, who works as an artist curator and artistic director.